Welcome to episode 34 of Meet the GIMP. My name is Rolf Steinort and I'm recording this in Bremen, northern Germany. Today I'll tackle a way to convert RGB images to monochrome, which gives you as much control or even more control as Ansel Adams had about his images. Here you see one of his images. Adams had control over his images because he had a lot of experience and made experiments and noted everything down about using different films, different photographic papers and different chemicals, timings, temperatures and so on. He had a lot of variables to tweak with, and then he started to dodge and burn in his images by waving his hands and other stuff in the light beam of the enlarger. In the last episode I showed you a way to control a lot about the images, the channel mixer. Today I'll take this a bit further. From my interview with Joel, there he challenged me to do a monochrome conversion. You remember this 16-bit stuff. There he challenged me to make a monochrome conversion with the channel mixers, note down the amounts and redo that with layers in Cinepaint, and then compare the output 16-bit versus 8-bit in the GIMP. That gave me an idea. Why not doing that in the GIMP and combining different channels in layers and tweaking a bit with the curves, and perhaps taking one image part out of that channel and the other out of that. That must be more flexible than the channel mixer. I try to do it and it's successful. It's a bit tedious, but you have so much control over the final image. It's incredible. And here is how to do that. Let's tackle this snapshot here for the last time. It's a perfect example for the nasty stuff I told in the last focus ring episode, that making black and white images out of a snapshot makes this snapshot into a piece of instant art, at least as long as you don't look into the details. And if you look into the details, you'll see a lot of mistakes in this image, especially sharpness here and so on. Okay, up to now we have taken the three channels. We have here a channel dialog. We have this image, three channels, a red one, I can switch that off, a green one and a blue one. This image consists out of blue, a green channel and a red channel, and combined these three give this image here, this colorful image. And we have taken different amounts of the luminosity of these three channels and mixed them together. First with colors desaturate and the three possibilities there, and then with components channel mixer. And today I want to emulate the way the channel mixer does this and add a little twist with changing the curves of the layers. So I'll do basically the same as with the channel mixer, but with more freedom to tinker. And for that I'll use here decompose. This gives me a lot of options here in which color to decompose this image. Here's RGB, I get 3 layers or 3 images, red, green and blue. With then for the alpha channel I can get hue, saturation, value, or hue, saturation and lightness, and cyan, magenta, yellow, and with K, with the added black, I can only get the alpha, and LAB and some other stuff that I've seen only in videos, but well, we don't need that. I'll select RGB and I decompose into layers. If I unselect this here, I get the 3 images, and so I get 1 image in layers. Let's do that, and here it is. By the way, on the top here you see my new key status toy, and every time I press a key you see it here. I press Control, I press Shift, and now I'm pressing Control, Shift and E and fit the image into the frame. So even if I'm forgetting constantly to tell you which keys I press, you can see them here if I do any key presses. And these here are the mouse buttons. So this is the new image, and you see here it has 1 channel, 1 gray channel and an alpha channel, but I wanted to look at the layers, and here you see this image consists out of 3 layers. The top one is the red layer. This looks quite nice for a black and white image, and this was also the starting image that we had in the channel mixer in the last episode. I'll switch the visibility off. This is the green layer. The green layer has the advantage of having the double number of recording sites or of photo sites on the sensor, because the Bayer pattern consists out of 1 red, 1 blue and 2 green pixels. The green channel has the least noise and the most details, so it's a very good starting point. And last but not last and least, we have the blue channel. Blue has very little to do in this image, but you see here in the leaf the contrast of the blue channel is really good. The leaf has, I think, the best definition in this image here, the best contrast. My first step is to mix these 3 channels, and for that I change the opacity. The bottom layer stays at 100% opacity, and I'll add here a third. I want to have a third of red, so I enter here 33.3, and I want to have, now I have 66% green and 33% red. I want to have a third of the blue too, so I change this here to 66.6. And now I have the average image that we had in the first episode about changing to monochrome with colors and desaturate. I needed a while to understand this stuff with 1/3, 2/3 and full opacity of the 3 channels, and well, I have made a little example here. Here are 3 layers on top of each other, and if I change the opacity, you see how the color changes. But I want to cut away 2/3 of this one here, so that a third is left over. And now I cut away 1/3 of this green layer here, and I have visible a third of blue, 2/3 of green, and now I switch back on the red one, and I have a third, a third, a third. So a third from the top layer, 2/3 of the middle layer, and 1/3 of the bottom layer. It comes down to a tenth, 2/10, 3/10 or so if you work with 10 layers. I have put all values back to 100%, and now I want to look at each of the three channels, red, green and blue, and see which details I want to have. And I switch to 100%, sorry. And here we have the leaf in the center of the image, and here some of these more brown leaves, which are not so important. So let's look at this here. The red channel, it looks good, but it's a little bit well, spotty here. This doesn't look that nice, so switch this off. Green is detailed. Has it more detail as this one here? Yes, definitely. It's sharper. These lines here between this, these little veins in the leaf are sharper in the green channel. So green will be very important for the final image. Red not so important. And you see here these blotches are gone in the green channel. And finally the blue channel. We have here a lot of contrast between these veins which structure the leaf and the other area here, but this is too dark, I think. And now let's start mixing this stuff. First, I don't want this one here, but I want the green layer, and I want to modify it, so I double it, green copy, and switch off the copy, and I want the blue layer, and also that I copy and switch off the copy. Now I reduce the green a bit, and you see we get here more contrast, but we are losing also a bit of definition. Well, there is a solution. I tackle first the blue layer here, and I want to have it a bit brighter and keep the contrast. I want to have this stuff here brighter, and this shall stay as dark as it is, and this also here. Solution for that, of course, the curves tool. I want to keep the dark stuff, so I set a marker here, and I want to pull the bright stuff up. Let's do that. And you see I have to tweak the curve a bit, not to get too much blotches into the image. Always keep in mind this will not be the final image, but only a part of the final image. I think this looks quite good. So switch back on the green channel and reduce it. Reduce the opacity. Oh, well, I'm on the wrong channel here, on the wrong layer, sorry. And now you see here the black of the veins creeping in. I can do this a little bit better, I think. Well, perhaps I can increase the contrast of the blue layer a little bit more. Switching off this, and again taking the curves tool and pulling up the curve in the top part and pulling it down in the bottom part. The blue channel starts to look disgusting here, but we'll see if this works out. Well, yeah, doesn't look that bad. There's a little bit more that can be done. With layer masks I can select different layers, different compositions for different places in the image. let's get this here a little bit brighter, and so I go here to blue and make a copy of that. Okay, and now let's switch these things off. I take again my curves tool and try to make this brighter. It's not the best way. I should have worked on the copy of that, but don't care. So this is the original, because this here has 100% opacity. You don't see this layer. But if I add a layer mask here in white, nothing changes. But now I take a black pen, well, okay, right size and opacity. When I'm now painting on loose black on this layer mask here, the lower layer starts to shine through, and so I can change different parts of the image. Well, let me stop here. This image isn't really worth it. To get the stuff together, decompose the image into 3 layers: red, green and blue, and then mix these layers with their opacity sliders for a starting image. Then look at different details of your image and change the curves of your 3 layers. Don't forget to make a copy before that. And if you have an image with different parts which you want to treat in different ways, just make different copies and mask them out with layer masks. This way you can make a very flexible conversion to monochrome, way more flexible than with the channel mixer, and you can do have an incredible amount of control that I could have dreamt only about in my time in the dark room. There was control over the final image, but it was incredibly expansive. You had to have a lot of different papers for enlarging and different chemicals, and you had to know what happens if you expose less and develop more, and so on. And each time you needed at least a little piece of photographic paper and an incredible amount of time. This thing here with fiddling with the layers and the opacity slider, I love that, and I'll start to make some monochrome images. And I'll start from scratch, from taking the image and trying to find back my black and white eye. Remember, there's a challenge open for you. Make a monochrome conversion of one of your images, and then go to photo group in 23HQ and post it there with the tag MTG monochrome. You see here there are already some entries there, and I'm blown away from the quality of some of them. Here is the tag MTG monochrome, and well, for these early ones we'll start with the slideshow a bit early. And let's look here, the first entry, a nice dog and a good tonal range here. Then the next one is selective monochrome, selective desaturation. I'm not so sure about this technique. I basically don't like it, but this here, it looks interesting. This one here, isn't it great? From real black to a real high key face and pure white. This one from the North Sea, Well, it's a bit dangerous because all the water is flowing out of the left on the left side. Perhaps you should rotate it a bit and level the horizon. How to do that is covered in the first episode of Meet the GIMP. And this one here, 90th birthday from Norman. This one, well, that's a little bit of preview for the next episode. Toning an image, brown and sepia tone. And here another selective decoloration. Well, it looks nice, but something in it makes me a little bit uneasy. And this one here, this must be somewhere Alaska. Okay. And again a dog, same dog. Water again. A ship, well, not in perfect sailing condition. And a gun turret on, well, I don't know what this is, a tank or something else. The challenge is open up to the last day of March, and we haven't even started with March, and already this lot of images here. It's great. And so please take part in the challenge. You can win a 1-year membership in 23 worth €20, and you will be honored by seeing your image in a slideshow with music in the first episode in April then. And well, just do it. It is a lot of fun. If you go to the website meetthegimp.org and go down here, you find a new widget here. It's for friends of the German podcast scene. Chris Marquardt from Tips from the Top Floor and Happy Shooting, and Hoppe from Hoppes Welt have started a podcast and a news portal about the German podcast scene. And if you're interested in that and are speaking German, just check this out. I thought I can promote their project on my website, even if it's only for the German speaking here. And I had for a moment thought about putting ads on the website, but I'll stay away from that. There will be no commercials and other advertisements, except such stuff here for friends or perhaps something for charity or so. And I'll keep away from doing that stuff. And if you are on the website, look at the subscribers counter. It had crept up until 1976, and only 24 more, and I would have had 2,000 subscribers. I expect them to be somewhere next week to reach 2,000. And with that, I say goodbye. Up to next week with another episode of Meet the GIMP, that time covering toning of monochrome images.
Photocastnetwork.com, your photography resource in the potosphere. Photocastnetwork.com